Rossini's imagination was set on fire by an epic poem by Sir Walter Scott, who inspired many Italian librettos for operas, but this was the first. And in it, we find a new language by Rossini. He's inspired to write quite lush orchestrations that really bring in the harmony of nature and the Scottish landscape around it. He takes us on a beautiful ride through a Scottish story of history.
The opera is set partly at Rossini's time, but also in a historic Scotland. It's very much about looking back at Scottish history. Crucial to the production is a sense of landscape. The beautiful Scottish landscape, the Highlands, which are personified in Elena, the Lady of the Lake. In a way, she is Scotland. Both Scott and Rossini shared a fascination with the conflict between love and duty, with perhaps a sense of how today connects to the past, and I think a fascination with nationalism, which we see in this opera very clearly as romantic nationalism. So it's a very romantic story about heroes, about warriors, about lovers, but really it's a story about nations, and specifically about how modern nations emerge.
As the curtain comes up, we meet for the first time my character, Elena, who is the Lady of the Lake. There's an air of mystery around her, and this mystery has traveled all around the kingdom, and people speak of her and wonder what she's actually like. What we find is a young, innocent girl who is fiercely loyal to the idealism of Scotland, and yet she's also very much in love with Malcolm. This will develop as she's torn between her idea of duty to her father, Douglas, and to the love and passion that she has. As the scene begins to unfold, a mysterious man enters onto the scene. This is Oberto, as he introduces himself. And in reality, he's actually King James in disguise. He throws off his robes to finally meet the woman that he has been hunting and searching for.
My character is the king. He is a pretty young person, and he's kind of a playboy. He's looking for girls. And, you know, the latest one is the Donna del Lago. He has heard about her as a legendary beauty. So he goes around in disguise, looking for her. When he meets her, he's completely blown away. This is a pretty incredible encounter for him. And as a matter of fact, he falls in love right away. He's a very passionate man. And he's even jealous when he's told that she's going to marry Rodrigo. And then he misunderstands her, that maybe there's a possibility in her heart for him. It's a fantastic role. Vocally is extremely exciting. It is difficult, of course. A lot of high notes. A lot of beautiful legato lines. So that requires a lot of breath control and a lot of expression, because the lines seem to be simple, but it's all about the interpreter to make these lines live.
Elena's father, Douglas, a celebrated warrior, used to work for the king, but now he's siding with the Highlanders and leading them into rebellion against King James.
Douglas is a father of Elena, the father of La Donna del Lago, and he wants his daughter to marry Rodrigo in order to get united to his clan and so defeat Oberto. He's very strict father. He loves his daughter, but he has to do it to survive. He sees her suffering, and it's not a beautiful situation for Douglas.
My character's name is Rodrigo, and he is a rather savage barbarian, a chieftain of the Highlanders. He is at war with the Lowlanders and with James V's army, and he joins forces with another Highland clan, Douglas, and the prize is for Rodrigo that he is allowed to marry Elena. For him, it's about having a woman having someone as his wife, something that elevates your status and something that an alpha male at that time would have, like Rodrigo. But he does have feelings for her in a lot of the singing. He's always doubting her affection and whether there's something else, some conspiracy at play.
Elena is distraught because her heart belongs to Malcolm. It is unwavering and it is true. And the same is for Malcolm. He's been away for months, and as he comes back to meet Elena, he's ready to declare his love for her as well.
Malcolm is a hero, a warrior, a lover. And in the music of Rossini, we can hear and we can see all of these feelings. It's a very complicated role because I'm a woman, so it's very difficult for me to act like a man. Malcolm is an untravesti role. It's untravesti because he has trousers. In this case, not, but it's a trouser role.
Our stage director, John Fool James, has set our story in 19th century Edinburgh at the time of Sir Walter Scott and Rossini.
We imagined a meeting of the Celtic Society of Edinburgh. This society really still exists, and in the 19th century was chaired by Walter Scott. They've gathered in an oak-panelled room, an evening perhaps smoke-filled, whiskey-filled, and as they drink, they talk, they retell, they reenact the story of Scottish history. To help them, there are some objects which define Scottish history, the regalia of Scotland, the crown jewels of Scotland, which Walter Scott himself discovered. So they use these objects to imagine Scotland's past in order to have a strong sense of Scotland's future. Two characters, Scott and Rossini, act as the stage managers of the story. They oil the wheels of the story, so they enable us to see history through their eyes.